All right. Well, welcome to Cosmic Compass Conversations. It is July 15th, I think, 2024. Yes. We've grounded enough. Let's start with some breathing. This is something that in my enthusiasm for everything I've been forgetting lately. So why don't we just start with some breaths together? We'll bring the energy in and then we'll talk astrology, tarot, and all things cafe price. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So here we go with the breathing. Just taking a moment to be present where you are, wherever that may be in the world right now, and just taking your time to orient, be in your body, connect. And if it helps, put a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly, or two hands on your belly, two hands on your heart, whatever feels right for you. And we're just going to take 4 breaths. And again, do what feels right for you. I'm going to close my eyes and breathing in, filling the belly, expanding the belly, and exhaling when you're ready. You might want to shake those shoulders, relax the jaw on your exhale, breathing in, expanding the belly a little bit more, and exhaling. And again, loosening the jaw, relaxing the shoulders, breathing in, expanding the belly a little more, exhaling. One more, breathing in, expanding the belly, and exhaling when you're ready. Beautiful. Now we're all relaxed. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thanks for setting aside the time. This is very exciting. What I'm going to do right now, since we've just been doing our breathing together, is I'm going to go ahead and pull the cards first, just to capture some of that energy that we are in as we breathe together. And for those of you just now joining, I see some of you got my little psychic message because I was wondering if you might be here with us. So thank you from joining from far away in the world. I appreciate you for being here. All right. So big week, big energy. Knocking on the deck. First card for us today. Perfect. This is, I would like to think, how we started. So, and for those of you who don't know the tarot, you don't need to. All you need to do is just look at this card and just ask yourself, how do you feel? What do you notice? What do you see? How is this card speaking to you? I'll put the meaning in the follow-up email, but for now, the most important thing is how it's speaking to you. One of the reasons why I use the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann is because her artwork is phenomenal for, I think, sharing not just the meaning of the cards traditionally, but also I think a sort of an updated way for us to see ourselves in the cards. Okay, so that's our first one. So 7 of Wands, and again, my editorial is I'd like to think, here we are starting in this blessed circle. We are protected and guided, supported and centered. So I love that. And then, yes, it only gets better. Well done, us. Here we go. This is very exciting. So again, I'll stop editorializing for a moment. Go ahead and just see how you feel, what you notice, what is speaking to you. David, this is what's speaking to me.
I noticed the cat.
I just played David a video earlier from Instagram. Cat videos, they're my secret sauce. It's the magic to my mystery. All right. So what do you see? What do you notice? How do you feel? And collectively, again, I'd like to think that this is us. Those of you that are watching later, you're included in this, of course. This is us coming together. And again, whatever card shows up next, it's been kind of interesting lately. We'll see. I don't know. I think we're on the right track this week. I mean, I think we always are, but this feels like very much about like the message I want to share about the astrology. So, okay, Ace of Wands or Ace of Cups. So we have Seven of Wands, Queen of Wands, Ace of Cups. Thematically, I am noticing some things that these have in common. So that's another way to look at this is what is there a theme that you see in common? It's kind of fun to look at that too, because there's some gestures here too, and we might even want to do well, we don't have to do it right now, but sometime this week, maybe practice these hand gestures, 1, 2, 3, and just really see how those feel in your body, right? I mean, that's a whole new way to work with these cards. I'm all for the somatic component, so bringing that in feels good to me. All right, so exciting. You're welcome to put anything in the comments if you have any thoughts or insights. I may not read them right away, but yes, they are cool cards indeed. And I will put these in the follow-up email. Okay, first things first. I wanted to talk about the astrology just a little bit. I would say astrology has become so much, ooh, like that, very much. Ask, receive, integrate. Yes. Astrology has become mainstream enough now that everybody has an opinion and everybody has lots to say. And some I think are excellent. Some I don't necessarily agree with, and that's fine. I don't have to. That's the beauty of astrology, is that there's 47 different ways to interpret something. So one of the things that I think is important right now is to consider how we are going to utilize this very powerful energy that we find ourselves in right now, today, this moment. Uranus, the planet of, depends on what you want to emphasize, but I'll give you a list. The planet of the unexpected, the planet of freedom, the planet of invention, the planet of forward thinking, progressive thinking. Uranus, the planet that gives us our awakening to something. And our friend Mars, planet of passion, planet of creativity, planet of sexuality, planet of anger, rage, war, higher thinking in terms of quick, connected to that creative element. I'd like to go with creative passion and forward thinking today. I think that's a good way to go with it. And we put it in Taurus, which is very much about the body, also about our self-worth, our self-value, our inner resources, and our outer resources. So this is me speaking from my perspective today. There's a lot of energy, and not everyone knows how to utilize energy. Not everyone has been developing the capacity. So what I'd like to do is, as a collective energy, let's just offer our own beautiful energy out there in the world that can be received by others who may need to have a little more grounding, or maybe they just need a little support today because the energy is so big and so vast and so physical that they're not sure how to handle that, right? So we have the opportunity to really offer our creative efforts, our inventive efforts, our ways of taking our enthusiasm and our passion and bringing that into the world in a way that could actually leave the world a better place. Okay. So that's my little editorial for today. And to put it into context, for those of you that are wondering, the energy of this time continues for the rest of the week. The Uranus-Mars has been in getting together for the last couple of weeks. The energy will continue, but it is starting, it's waning at this point. Mars has already crossed over Uranus and it's on its way away from that. But again, this is likely, well, unless you're super young, like 4 years of age, or maybe 10, this is the last time in our lifetime that this is going to happen. This creative, powerful, forward-moving, inventive energy that awakens us to something greater within ourselves that we can bring to the future, or help create a future, or help create something that will help create a future, right? This is it in Taurus for the rest of our lives, unless you live another 84 years. And if any of you that I can see right now live another 84 years, then you are this. You are this energy. You embody this energy. So, but my point in this, that Uranus and Mars will come together again in another 2 years, but it will be in Gemini. So what can we do now? What can we do now to encourage form to come forth? Things that will support, create, invent. So with that segue, guess what's going to happen now? I'm going to bring on Kathy Price because she's like, oh, great. Thanks so much.
Cheers.
I'll bring
Wonderful.
me on too, though. I won't leave you. Okay.
No, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Stay right there, okay? Stay right there. That was part of the bargain.
Yeah, right. Well, welcome.
there.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. You know, I always love being here.
Well, I love having you here. And for those of you that don't know, which I can't imagine anyone doesn't know by now because we've been shouting it from the rooftops for a while. Kathy and I are going to get to spend some time together here really soon. David's coming with me. We have we have other people that are going to be there.
There might be 1 or 2 other people.
There's just a few people, but we're really looking forward to seeing you, Kathy, and we're going to actually be on a real theater stage. Well, you were like that at the Journey on Summit podcast summit in Australia, right?
Yeah,
that was a theater. So
yeah.
you've been on have you been on a theater stage prior to that?
No, good God, no. These are all firsts, you know, these are all firsts.
Well, okay, but how was it? Just out of curiosity.
It was really interesting. Yeah, slightly different from the first one where we were in a big room. And so it wasn't so, you were almost slightly more disconnected from the audience in the theatre setting because of the lighting. Because in the San Antonio one, it's all lit up and you can see everybody.
Oh, yeah, you can see everybody.
Yeah, you could. I mean, that was the one thing that I found a little disconcerting was that they had like spotlights and me being me wouldn't stay in one place.
Oh, yeah,
So,
we can walk.
Spotlight, not spotlight, spotlight, not spotlight. And I'm sure they were cursing me actually, but I mean, it was great. It was a wonderful atmosphere. And it was much more, you go around the back to come in. I mean, Warwick told me off because I was going to walk down the stairs out and he went, no, go this way. And it's like, oh God, sorry.
Okay. So again, stage, it's like a first. And it's interesting you say that. The way you said that was another first, another first, another first. Would you care to elaborate on what you mean? I mean, other than the fact that we obviously know that was your first time on the stage, but there's something underneath that. What is that about?
Oh, goodness. All of these times where I've been blessed, and I mean, will be the 3rd time that I've been invited to speak, is a first because I never know what I'm going to bring, what the subject matter is going to be. There's always a driver that comes forward, that becomes apparent. And usually it's about 6 weeks before the actual summit that it suddenly all falls into place. And I know, okay. And this one actually happened in January. I thought, okay, I know what I'm going to talk about. And then there's been so many iterations of it. And I actually practiced what I'd written down a couple of weeks ago, and it was so boring. I nearly sent myself to sleep. So it was a case of okay, I think that needs a little bit of work. And it was the same subject matter, but it was in a different form.
Mhm.
And so, as I said, the one subject you can go into so many different forms and have so many accents, you know, accentuate this point or that point. So yeah, this one I'll say it's called the energy of healing, and I'm really just going to my roots. It's going to be what I'm about. This is what I do, and so yeah.
I love that, the
Beautiful.
energy of healing. And
Yeah.
I know anyone who's here read the email, so they know a little bit about you, and pretty much everyone here, I think, knows who you are at this point. But I do want to talk a little bit about your path to the energy of healing.
Yes, it's been quite an interesting one.
It is,
Yeah.
I'm going to start it in a new way today.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a course called Gateway to You,
Hmm.
and that you must have designed that for a reason.
It designed itself, actually. It really,
Exactly, right? Because sometimes we need gateways to ourselves so we
yeah,
understand who we are and why we're here.
yeah. That people were asking me, could I teach them to do what I do?
Hmm.
And the message I was hearing was almost, can I teach them to be me? Not in a,
Hmm.
oh, look at
Yeah,
me, oh, you need to be me, but
yeah.
to have the same outlook, the same experience. And I
Hmm.
realized I couldn't,
No.
because I'm the sum of all my experiences, and everybody is unique, everyone is powerful, and everyone has their own pathway.
Hmm.
So what it came to me was, I can't make you sort of experience what I've experienced and come to not a conclusion, but lead you on a pathway.
Hmm.
But maybe I can put together the tools that will allow you to step into the most powerful version of you, so that you find who you're meant to be. And that was the driver, the complete driver behind it.
I love that. I love that. So, Kathy, what were the things that encouraged you to step into who you are? And who were you before?
Oh my God, she didn't tell me it was going to be an interrogation, but
It's a conversation. It's just
I
relaxed.
know, sweetheart. I'm joking. I'm joking. It's okay. Who I was before was most definitely the scientist.
Hmm.
You know, measure it, replicate it, and explain it, and I'll believe it. Otherwise, please go away. And that was before 2023. And I was very
That was
secure.
before
Sorry,
2023.
2003.
I'm like,
Sorry,
no.
2003. Yes. Slight
Okay.
slip of the tongue there, but who knows?
Maybe.
Um,
Okay. Maybe
yeah,
there's a change,
exactly.
right? Okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. Yeah, there
Okay.
might be, actually.
Okay.
So that was sort of where I came from, and
Mhm.
I'd always wanted to be a vet and to work with horses.
Mhm.
And I suppose it was about healing horses.
Right.
And then in 2003, my horse took me to the clinic, which was all about energy. And that's literally over a weekend, I changed from a scientist into I do not know. I had no idea what I was. I was completely confused. Oh, completely. I can remember coming back from the weekend doing the shopping sort of the next day or so, and there was some really, some schmaltzy music. I was in Morrison's doing the shopping. I was crying over the potatoes. I mean, it was
I'm
really,
sorry.
oh no, do laugh, because I look back and I cry, because I laugh because it was so, what on earth was going on? But that started my moment of exploration.
Mhm.
And that, oh my God, I didn't stop. I just had to keep, and everything was one thing after another, one thing after another. And synchronicities, I'd open a book and it would say something. Oh, there you go, there's the answer. Open another, oh, there's the answer. And so that's where I think I knew I was on the right path, because it was being offered up to me in such a easy, beautiful way. But of course, every element that came gave me a thousand more questions.
Right.
And so it was a very intense, it was about 10, 12 years of really intense learning. I mean, I didn't stop reading, I didn't stop doing courses.
Mhm.
I just had to find out, had to find out. And I'm quite, obsessive like that. It's like, right, okay, on the journey now.
That's the scientist, though. I mean,
Mm,
see, the thing about science is that it is highly creative. And it also requires so much of that diligence and devotion, discernment. not stopping until you have what you think you need anyway. So I get it. That's perfect. Lots and
Mhm.
lots of, I think, that gives you so much to base everything on.
Yeah, I really like the fact that I've got that skeptical side, because
Mhm.
I don't step in, somebody tells me something, I don't go, "Oh my God, that's amazing." I might in one way, but the other way, it's like, "Hmm, okay." And I let things settle into me.
Mhm.
So I always say my experience is my truth,
Mhm.
but I'm not attached to my truth. So if you
Ooh, I
say
like
something
that.
here,
Yeah.
which is maybe slightly different from where I sit,
Mhm.
I allow it to come into me and I'll sit with it and I'll see how it feels. And I can take days and days doing it. And it may be that it's, yeah, that's a new way of looking at it and it feels better or correct or, nice, whatever word you want to say. So that was how my modus operandi, if you like.
Yeah, and I appreciate that very much. Little known fact, I'm actually, um, well, those who know me well know I'm usually a no before I'm a yes, which usually means I've got a skeptical side, which is to say, and again, really understanding what it means to be skeptical. I love what you said. You're going to take it in, you're going to roll it around, you're going to see if it's a fit, kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears and the little cottage. And you're going
And the
to, check,
porridge.
yeah, you're going to check it out. And then you're going to decide, oh, this is for me or this isn't for me. And I do have a side that I think because I come from a really protective place, particularly in the world in which I do my work, that I'm very protective of people. So if I hear something that doesn't sound right to me, I'm like, I'm a little Mars-Uranus there, I'm gonna be like, And then I kind of I do have to wait it out though. I do give it some time. There have been times in the past where I've been these are all very important words, by the way. I want you all to learn how to pronounce and yeah.
Mm. Yeah, okay, let's all
Well
have a
done.
practice.
Yeah, well
Yeah.
done.
I
But
know,
though,
yeah, I know that
but
one.
again, like really understanding how our bodies are responding. For some of us,
Yes.
that is how we process information and really listening to the body. I mean, that was a big awakening for me around oh my gosh, probably 2001. I had been doing the psychic work for a really long time, but my body and the rest of me were really disconnected by that point. Like, and then I had a real shift, and that's when I started doing the womb space work and really dropping in deep. And now I understand that my body is my compass. And that's
Yes.
one of the
I
reasons why I
love that.
disconnected. That's why I disconnected from it, because my compass was telling me to do something else.
Yeah, and
And
this was yeah.
uh-huh, yeah. So, and
Mhm.
I think, as someone who works with horses, I'm going to defer to you on this one, but my guess is that the body is the main compass, the body, the energy, the field of
Yeah, I
energy.
mean, now the place I'm at now, I came from completely traditional, what you call BHS, British Horse Society, heels down, everything done this way and that.
Mm.
And that's what the clinic, and I saw a question there, who was the
Oh,
clinician?
yeah.
It was a guy called Len Judd, and he's an Australian, but he was working out of California, but now he's back in Australia, but he doesn't do much. But he was the one, and that was the thing that got me, was that's all he talked about was the energy, how the connection of the horses to the energy, and he would sense the energy and the horses would sense the energy, and that was just a mind blowing for me, and it opened my brain, and it was so obvious. And
Mhm,
I mean, I'm not going to say I felt it then, because I think it's too new, but
mhm,
it just completely made sense. So yes, most definitely. And I mean, I've had three horses. So Midnight was the first one that took me to that clinic, because she basically was telling me, you've got to find a different way. You've
mhm.
got to find another way. And she would just go, no, and look at me and going, what you going to do about it now then, dear?
Yeah.
And I had nothing. There were no tools in the toolbox at all. Um, so that's why I went that. And then Teasel came along, 13 years later, and she's like, ah, yes, now we can play. now I'm going to show you what this is all about. And then unexpectedly, because I never expected to have two horses, Evie came along and she just looks at me and goes, I'm now going to see if you can walk the talk.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So, they are my teachers without a doubt.
They are. And I'd love for you. I know that for those of you that follow you on the socials, they see the different posts that you create. There, Kathy, is there a book?
No. Oh, Denise, did you have to? Did you have to? Oh God, I'm going through the most amazing phase of discovery, of clearing. I have another practitioner near here who does creative kinesiology. And today I was with her. Oh yeah, the book was there, honey. The book was there in sort of highlighted.
Yeah.
Really strange you should mention that. Really strange. I know. But it's so interesting because, looking at the cards that got drawn here,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was like the Seven of Wands was peace in the moment and connected.
Right.
Then the Queen of Wands was excitement, new joy and happiness. And then I had the Ace of Cups was the mystery within.
Right.
And this for me was so appropriate because that's exactly where I am, that I've not got to. I am in the moment of the words that kept coming up in this other session was about illumination,
Mm.
illuminating the path.
Mm.
And so the book, because I know there might be two, thanks to
Oh, I'm
you,
sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
is about illumination. But the power that came from today was me stepping into the freedom of being able to write without a need to prove or a need to be what I expect other people want.
Mm-hmm.
Or all I've got to do is write my truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been quite liberating. Needless to say, nothing's been written yet because that was only this morning. But
Well, nothing like the present.
nothing like the present, indeed. Yeah, that's sort of, so you saying that is so pertinent. Hell surprise. I am talking to you.
Well, it's in the field, I mean, I think it's that thing we were just talking about, what is it to sense? I'm really excited to hear this. And I love how you're integrating the cards and, this energy of bringing forth something that's already actually in a form. I mean, this is the thing. So, when I ask a question like that, it's because I see something that's already in a form. Now, it doesn't necessarily always make it into this earth energy form, but it's there. It's
Yeah,
there and it's pretty clear. So I think it wants to.
it feels, and there are moments, and this again is something about being still, feeling within your body the right moment to start, when it's in flow,
Mhm.
when the moment is perfect, that you can just sit. And I know that feeling. I mean, you talked about the Gateway to You course.
Mhm. Right.
I look back at it now and I
Mhm.
go, how did I write that? I
Mhm.
literally, there are parts that I can't remember writing, but it was completely almost downloaded.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That
that's
has
the next
happened to
step.
me before. There was a time in 2016 when, with David's help, we took 2 weeks, and what poured through was a 2.5 year program that I taught for women
Two and a half years.
yeah, 2.5 year program that I taught. But in 2 weeks, the structure,
Yeah,
the guidebook I'm still working on, but don't tell anyone. I'm still working on the guidebook, but the actual structure of it and what to do and how to do it really flowed through. Now I did have help, obviously, but it's like you said, it's sometimes things just need to flow. They just need to birth, really, literally
yeah, absolutely,
into this
absolutely.
dimension, because
Yeah.
they do
And I
exist.
believe, that all of the information, I was saying this to someone the other day, literally for me, that the knowledge to build, say, a rocket to go to Mars,
Mhm.
has been in the field all
Mhm.
along,
Mhm.
right since the dawn of humanity and beyond.
Mhm.
But it's just we're not in the place to understand or use it. You know,
Mhm.
we have to evolve within ourselves to
Mhm.
get to that point. But I
Mhm.
just think it's all there. All
Yeah.
of that information is there all the
Yeah.
time.
You know, and I think over the years, this is something that was taught to me by my mentors, and something that in the early years after I learned how to read, which was a little bit later than the norm. So I always say after I learned how to read, because it wasn't really super early.
Mm.
I started reading books about Edgar Casey and theosophy and different esoteric ways of being. By that point, I think I was 10 or 11.
Oh God,
Yeah.
you're 10 reading philosophy. Yeah,
Well,
okay.
I mean, that's what was available in the house. So that's what I was reading. And astrology actually there
Mm.
was, way back when, before there were computers. And, but I think about the amount of information that people have been sharing for thousands and thousands of years, and just how it's refined and developed and, pieced together differently in ways that allow us hopefully to grow and evolve. And I think that with the astrology that's current, not just the Uranus-Mars, but with Pluto, still tenderly in Aquarius for the moment, and then quickly back into Capricorn, and then back into Aquarius, we have such an opportunity for transformation and evolution and growth. This is a moment in time that we're gathering in this energy, and we all, I believe, have something to offer. That's the Aquarian component. We're not doing this alone. Grand idea, by the way. We are I call them pods, but like dolphins, but herds or groups or whatever you want to call them, communities, circles, that we're creating these together so that we can share our gifts and move things along. And that feels very much like where you're coming from, and how I feel like ever since I've known you, this idea of gathering,
Yeah.
bringing it together. Do you want to say more about your?
I love that. I really do. I really feel what you're saying about this is the moment of power and transformation.
Mhm.
I just so feel that. It's almost could be overwhelming in the sense that there is so much. And which way do I step? What do I do? What do I do first?
Mhm.
And that for me is like you said about coming back into the body and saying, okay,
Mhm.
what is the next best step, as Jane Pike would say? What is appropriate? What is the best next step?
Mhm.
And that's where I've been through sort of a period of quietness with work and other things. And now suddenly everything is like revving up and expanding. So when you were talking about, the alignment of the planets, so it's like, oh yeah, I feel that, I feel that.
Yeah.
But I've always said, when I've been on this path, and my feeling is it's when enough people step into that different energy, that's the world will change.
Yeah.
It's very simple in some ways,
Yeah.
because that positive love energy, light energy, darkness is the absence of light, putting the light out there as much as anything else. That's the moment when the balance will tip. At the moment, it's the other way around, but there are so many pockets, like you said, of people
Mhm.
gathering to do this, to accentuate
Mhm.
the positive and accentuate the light and the love. And I know it sounds like hippie dipshit, oh yeah, let's all talk love, but it's true. It's the most it is the highest vibration energy,
Mhm.
and that energy affects the energy of the magnetic field
Yeah.
of the earth. And so whilst heart math look with their little gadgets, which I've forgotten the name of, the random number generators,
Mhm.
they pick up when there's a negative emotion, because that's what generally gets transmitted out there. When there's a crisis or a war or a death or something like that. The opposite is true as well. That if something good happens and enough people react to that, that will change the field in a different way. And it will be a positive emotion, which people will feel. And it is about helping people, as you said, come back into their body, because so many people are up here. Everything has to be thought out and worked out like that, instead of just coming in and connecting everything together, because the wisdom is within the body, not up here. And this has been shown to me so dramatically over the past few weeks.
I'm very excited about these past few weeks. I'm not going to ask you about them right this
No,
moment.
we'll be here till about midnight if you ask me about them, because I'm going to, and
Okay.
then what happened was.
Okay. So you know what's coming to my mind, this image of this bringing the head and the body together, along with the spirit and the heart, of course, but is the symbol for Sagittarius.
Is the
It's
archer?
a centaur, and it's a half human, half horse. And I'm just thinking about the wisdom in that. Sagittarius energy is about higher thinking, but it's also about belief and trust and philosophy and cosmologies and travel and joy and abundance and aliveness, right? It's all of those things. And bringing a horse and a human together makes so much sense, because it's a reminder, hey, stay in the body, stay in the body, love this body. And also too, I know that in the centaur, the human part can raise up like this, that's part of this part. But in the horse, the heart is facing toward the earth. And it's that reminder again of like bowing down to the earth and just allowing the heart energy to connect in that way. Feels really, really appropriate. And there were a million things I was going to ask you, by the way, which have all left my head, but that's okay. Oh, I did. Yes, this is what I wanted to say about the energy. So with Jupiter in Gemini for this year, and then going into about June of next year, this is a great time to write.
You're
Okay.
determined I'm going to write this book, aren't you?
Yeah, I
You're
am.
determined.
That's it. And then it's also a good time to learn. It's a good time to teach. It's a good time for us to not be just in our head, because think about this. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So now there's this whole other thing about, okay, so the wisdom of this is, yes, Gemini is very much of the mind and communication and articulation, but Jupiter, in as much as it is expansion and amplification and blessings and opportunities and growth and healing and teaching and publishing the books that you write, it's all it's also very embodied in its own way. It's more of it has a oomph to it. So while it's in Gemini, I think it really does say, let's bring forth something. Let's see what we can bring. When it moves into Cancer next year, I think the opportunity then lies in the nourishment from that. So no pressure. And I am actually very serious about this.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time.
That's exactly what I was going to say, that I think having that knowledge, and I've been thinking about this for a long time, and there's been moments of absolute, oh yeah, that's how I'm going to go. That's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But if the energy of the universe is there sitting in this really helpful manner, use it.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah, you can, you can go there anytime, but why not?
No, I know, but why not when it's aligned in such a way? I totally, and there's that feel in me, oh God, it's like almost in my heart that, yeah, it needs to come out. It needs to come out. And I suppose my stumbling block, inverted commas, or my hesitation has been in what form? Because there are I've got so many ideas. I could write like this, I could write like that, I could write it this way, I could write it that way. And I think the final decision, the tipping point will be that's the way it's going to be written. And it's just almost on the tip of my tongue.
I know it is. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm going to ask you a question.
She's my friend.
Yeah, we know each other. It's okay. Friends do this to each other, for each other. I mean, for each other.
Yes, yeah, to each other. No,
For each
for
other.
yeah.
For each other. If you could pick one person to write this book
Oh,
and for, who would it be?
oh goodness, that is a question.
And you may not have the answer right now, and it's okay.
That is the first word that came to me was Teasel.
Hmm.
And then my dad.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
in there as well. I wouldn't say that either of those are definitive, but they were the first energies that came to me. And it's almost like an honoring, especially with Teasel, because she has taught me so much. And I know, there's all this thing, oh, I'll teach, the horses are not here to sort of teach us as though we're putting a label on them.
Ah, right.
For me, it's about honoring what they give,
Yeah.
what they present, what they open up. And
Mhm.
I always say that when I sit with the two horses now, and it was Teasel before, but the two now, I don't know whether they are actually bringing the information to me or through them, sort of thing, or whether they put me in a place to receive the information. I don't care.
Right.
It doesn't make any odds, but
Mhm.
it's just an, typical, got to find out.
Well,
Which,
it's okay. It's, I think always asking the questions is part of the curiosity, and that's what keeps us going, and that's fair. I mean, I think curiosity is really important. So I'm good with you wondering, being
yeah,
curious.
no, I've got no worries either way, because I
Yeah,
know it happens. So
I know
if
it
it's
does.
just, as you said, it is just curiosity that if there is a way around that it happens, or maybe it happens both ways, who knows? But
Yeah.
definitely
Hmm.
something happens. And it's so interesting because quite often I'm sat there and the two of them will be eating hay and then they will stop. And I've got photos of them. They come over and they stand with their heads over me as I'm writing. And then it's almost like they go, oh, okay, that's done then. Right, we'll go back and stuff our bellies again now. Thank you very much.
I love
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well, and
really
when I met you, Evie hadn't come yet. Yeah, I don't
no.
think. I think Teasel and I've always felt like and I told you this before, but I'll say it again for everyone. A Wrinkle in Time, Madeline L'Engle, one of my favorite books as a child, and then even as an adult. I just love that book. And they had Mrs. Who's It and Mrs. What's It. And for those that saw the movie before you read the book, I mean, sometimes I think movies can be great, but sometimes I think the imagination of our, whatever Madeline L'Engle was saying in her book and how she described these beings that came from other planets that were there to help. I always saw Teasel as like one of them. So
It's so cool.
anytime you would talk about Teasel or you would write something about what Teasel had shared, or, I was always taken back to A Wrinkle in Time where Meg is being, guided by the
Yeah.
three.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's true. I've never had aspirations that, oh, she's going to be a dressage horse or do this or do that. A, I'm not a good enough rider. But also it's just so much more. And we've been going through something over this past 6 months, 9 months, where Teasel has had body issues going on.
Mhm.
And it's really brought home to me that she can go and stand in a field.
Mhm.
I need her to do nothing
Yeah.
in that respect. I have no expectation.
Mhm.
I just want her well
Mhm.
and happy, and that is absolutely fine.
Mhm.
And it's been quite profound. And there's you see the other bit of writing that's sitting there waiting, and I have the title, and it's called The Healing of the Horse and the Human, and
Mhm.
it's based on what she and I have been through in this past sort of 6 months, because it has been really powerful.
The
Looking
healing
back.
of the horse and the human.
Mm,
I like it. I like it
thank
a lot.
you. Maybe that'll be the book. Who knows?
Maybe. So what I'm hearing, though, is that there is a lot of creative energy that is percolating through
Mm,
you. wanting to come through you, needing to come through you. And so here we are literally heading in just a few weeks into a group where you get to share some of that energy. And I'm here to say that Kathy and I next year are going to be sharing some of that energy together in person in
Try not
Wales. And we're
Yes.
designing, and we will be talking more about this when we're together, but we're going to design a retreat for people that allows you to deepen in with Kathy and deepen in with me and deepen together into whatever it is that we create together as a group, as a gathering. And that is kind of how I'm feeling the energy right now of how do we bring our individual selves, bring our teachings, bring what we have to share. And then from there, what gets created from that? So,
Yes.
and you've already been doing, I do know that the Bali retreat was rescheduled. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. We're moving it to January 2026.
Okay. All right.
Exactly the same format.
Okay.
Everything's the same. It's just that
Okay.
at the moment, yeah.
And we'll know more tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all good. Okay. It's
I
all
know
good.
it's all good. I know it's all good.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
wasn't going to try to get a preview here of the why, but I did want anyone
I
to know.
understand. Yeah, to
Yeah. But
know
I
that.
did want everyone to know
Yeah.
that the Bali retreat is still on
Thank you.
for
Yeah, no, that's
2026.
most definitely. And
Okay.
that was yeah. What can I say?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot that is percolating. There's a lot of energy, and that's really what we've been talking about today, is how much wants to come through, how much needs to come through. And already we've got signups, so we'll have to get details out because all these people want to come and we want you to be there too. So we'll figure out all the details later, not today. But I am excited about being able to be present with you because one of the things about your journey is, and this is something personal, and I'm sure I shared it the last time, but it bears repeating. In 2019 is when I was able to meet Kathy in person. And she had come to California, and she and Jane and Robin all, was there anybody else? Was it you, Jane, Robin? It feels like there was somebody else there too. Who else was?
Robin's sister-in-law.
Yeah, Faye was there. Okay, so thank you. I'm like, I know there was another person in that room. I'm like, I can feel it. Anyway, I'd had a very, very, very bad accident, and I dragged myself to the chocolate place, Mutari.
Sorry, I just saw the word there.
Yeah.
I was like,
I dragged myself to
chocolate.
the now defunct chocolate place. Somewhat of a sad end to that place, but they're happy. I'm sad. It's okay. But the buildings are all demolished and being turned
Oh
into these
gosh.
high rises, and like what we saw there in Santa Cruz no longer exists. It's
Jeez. Oh, I'm
just
glad I
in
got to
5
see it.
years. Yeah, in 5 years. Anyway, sad. Now moving on. So I meet Kathy, and I've had this very bad accident, and you don't actually know all the details yet because we know we're meeting. I'm on crutches. You can see I'm on crutches. It's my foot that I'm on the crutches for because I had the kind of break where you weren't supposed to walk on it for 8 weeks. But what you don't know is and what I didn't know at the time was that it was my right knee that had to have the surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. The doctor strategically waited until I had healed the foot to now say, okay, now we can schedule your surgery. I'm like, what are we doing surgery on?
Excuse
No
me.
idea.
It's healed. Yeah.
Yeah, what are we doing surgery on? He's like, your knee. And you're like, okay, do you explain that? But anyway, so we're sitting in Matari, and I'm sitting next to Kathy, and she puts her hand on my knee. And on my right knee, which was the one that was going to need the surgery. And one cannot totally prove this, but I am just going to say that my experience of that moment was a profound sense of energy. And I've had a lot of energy work. So I'm very sensitive. I know what I'm feeling. And I felt this, it was it was peacefulness. I don't quite even know how to explain it, but you put your hand on my knee and because I remember you saying, I feel called to put my hand on your knee. Would that be okay? And I said, yes, of course, please do.
I
Of
did
course.
ask first, yeah.
Yes, she did ask. Consent is very important. And I felt this peacefulness sort of run through me. And what I think to this day, and I was very fortunate, I live with someone who does healing work. Have tons of friends that do healing work, so I feel very gifted. But I feel from that moment, and probably because no one knew at that point that my knee was going to need surgery, that I didn't have to have a knee replacement. That,
Really?
yeah, which was that was his first choice, apparently. But he instead decided to do what was at that time still an experimental surgery, which and David knows more about this because I can't take in all the details like this. This is not my wheelhouse, but they went in and did micro breaking of the bone
Oh,
to
good.
do something that was supposed to help.
Really? Woo.
Okay, so anyway,
It hurt a lot.
what did you say?
It hurt a lot.
It hurt a lot. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh.
yeah. It was a hurt a lot surgery, but it worked. I mean, so yay for that. But I do believe that the energy work that I felt from you helped reset something. And I think that's important to say because you don't ever, yeah, I don't think you ask for testimonials. You're doing remote energy work all the time. We haven't talked a lot about it, but is there something you would like to say about that type of work that you've done and been doing for a while now?
Well, firstly, thank you. I love the way you describe the peacefulness because for me, because sort of I don't experience it, I'm so interested when people like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
give me some not information, but feedback on what it's like. And if it helps, that's all I ask.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I intend ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting because what you've mentioned is going to come up in the talk. She's psychic. Do you know that? She's psychic. She now knows what my talk is before I've even done it. We shouldn't realize this matter. But yeah, because when I'm talking about the energy of healing, I want people to realize it's real, that it's not, woo-woo bullshit, basically.
Right.
And so, as you said, I don't ask what is wrong with people.
Right.
Very often I don't know their name. I just know where they are in the world, and that's only just to get a time difference, so they know when I'm working. And I never ask for feedback. If people wish to come, I've got lots of feedback because people have been amazing and said, "Oh, I just want to let you know what happened," which is, I love it. I mean, sometimes I'm crying my eyes out because something has happened, and I'm just in wonderment that I sit here in this room in my house in Wales, working with a person the other side, or a horse the other side of the world, and something changes.
Yeah.
So on the brain level, it's how the bloody hell does that work?
Right.
On the energy level, it's logical.
Right.
And why wouldn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
Whether they're in Australia or California, they are here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm as connected as if I'm touching the desk.
Yeah.
So that's I think my impetus, my wish is for people to realize two things. This energy is real.
Yes.
And the only healer is the person themselves.
Yes.
Everything else that happens is
Yes.
facilitating you healing yourself, whether it's allopathic medicine, pills, surgery, whatever, or whether it's somebody, shiatsu, homeopathy, acupuncture, energy work. They are there to facilitate you healing yourself. You are the only healer. And that's where I will not, I really balk against someone saying, "Oh, you're a healer." And I say, "Thank you very much, but I'm not. I'm a facilitator."
Yeah.
And I can make no guarantee because it's up to the system itself.
Yes.
And that's, to me, why there are so many different modalities, so many different things out there, because everything is appropriate for somebody and nothing is better than anything else.
Exactly.
It's just if you can find the one that's appropriate for you, you get the change.
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it.
I love it. I love how you look at it. That's why we click. I love it. So imagine bringing that in, and then I'll bring a little of mine in, and we'll all be hanging out in Wales next year. I mean, that's going to be pretty cool. So
I want to be there. I want to be there.
You will be there because you're going to be.
I know, but I want to be there.
You will. Okay, but to your point though about your theme for your talk, it's very similar to my theme. So to be fair, I'll share a little bit about mine, just a little. I'm just
case we're glitching. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, just because a theme. So mine's and this is are we supposed to keep these confidential? Can I share what my title?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
What difference is it going to make?
It's only a couple weeks away. So mine's entitled Choose Your Own Adventure, Navigate Your Stars, and Journey On with Purpose. And so
my goodness.
it's So, but it's the same idea, right? Like choose that which works for you so that your system can find the healing energy that allows it to find its better alignment.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Exactly it. And I just love it because basically it's all the same thing. Everything that's out there, whether, as I said, all of the different modalities.
Yeah.
It's about helping the system come back into alignment, come back into balance, come back into ease. And as you said, the trick is, inverted commas, finding the one that's right for you. And that's where you listen to your body, because that's when you hear somebody speak and you go, oh, hello, that resonates with me.
Exactly. That feels good. I like that.
Good, baby. Yeah.
So, how many, percentages, how often do you work on humans? How often do you work on animals?
Oh, God, you ask awkward questions. I suppose I think I work on more humans than horses and animals, but maybe not. I don't, it may be at 50-50.
Might be 50-50. Okay.
Yeah. But it may be, more humans, more people.
So, okay, so two things. we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. I'm going to do my raffle offline so we have more time together. So just for those of you wondering if you won the raffle, you need to wait till you get the email. The point of balance, which is the name of your business, right? Point of balance. It's interesting this year is an 8-year, and I really wanted to bring this point in because the 8-year is about balance, but balance is not stagnant. Balance is equilibrium. And so I wanted to just kind of now toss that back over to you with your business name and how that encapsulates your way of being and your way of working.
Thank you. So the idea, I could take you to the spot in the road when I was walking Flossie where that idea came to me. Right. And I liked it because it was a bit of a play on words in the point of balance, i.e. the place, but then what is the point of balance? And I was like giggling to myself going, I'm clever. Anyway, so that's how, and it's not the point of balance, it's point of balance. But because of that, it's not stagnant. So for me, the balance of the system is every different layer, every different atom, every molecule at any particular moment being in balance. And that's obviously going to change with whatever's going on around us. Well, whether we're eating something, whether we've had something happen, it's always going to change. So my philosophy, the way I look at it, is that every living system, and I include the earth and the rocks in this, want to be in balance because that's the place of ease. Every single system, from an amoeba up to the blue whale. And so my job is to facilitate the system finding the information it needs to move back into balance. It's as simple as that.
I love that.
I've managed to distill it down now.
I love it.
Our description.
Okay, let's just take one more minute, maybe two. Talk about the sacred energy site on your land. This is just a brief, because this is I can't wait, and I just need. Why don't we tell everyone? Except don't put your address. I don't want everyone to descend upon you from you.
Well, you wouldn't be able to find it actually because it only appears My friend and I call it our temple. So basically, when there's a drought, there's an archaeologist called Dr. Toby Driver who flies all over the Wales looking for crop marks. And in 2008, I had a knock on the door, and it was him saying, "Is that your field down there? We found a crop mark. Can I go in it?" And I was like, "Only if I can come with you." So I'm in all the official photos holding sticks and doing everything. And they found a 40-meter double circle, which was a burial mound that they think dates back to Stone Age to Bronze Age, so about 4,500 years old. And there's 2 pits as well, equidistant from the center. So that was 2008. 2018, we had a really hard drought. And it'll only work when we've cropped it, because it's a silage field. So we've taken the crop off. You get this really dry ground, weather. And he again did a flyover, and it ended up, we had the BBC there because they actually found medieval graves buried on the site as well. And then they've also done geophys, all of it, and I want him to come and do a dig. But my daughter farms that farm now, so I've got to suck up to her and go, "Karen, don't mind if there's a few little holes in the field to you, just a little few holes, you know." But yeah, so and it just, what are the chances that I come to Wales from London, go to university, end up marrying this farmer, end up with this in the field? That's where I sit.
Well, is it chance or is it destiny? Now, you all know that I think we create much of our own destiny, because that is just how I choose. We're choosing our adventure. So, Kathy, the Choose Your Own Adventure, they were books back, I can't remember, probably in the 70s or 80s. I can't remember when. And you would go to they were young adult books, very young, like maybe middle school. And you would get to the end of the chapter and say, well, if you want to do this, go this way. Go to chapter 8. If you want to do this, go to chapter 6.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah.
So in a way, that's kind of what you did, is you chose your adventure. You had choices. You went to Wales to go to school.
Exactly. Yeah.
You had choices.
That was
right?
almost a known. I always said I'd end up in Wales somewhere. I never knew how.
So you knew, like, your soul is compelling this journey to go forward. And so it's through your choices. So yeah, I'm not surprised. And yet, people, I cannot wait to be there. And I will be, after the summit, getting my opportunity. I always said to Kathy from the time I met her, I just need to sleep somewhere on your property. Like, I didn't realize there would actually be a place to sleep. But I'm like, if I could just go. But I didn't know at that time that it was there. You already knew, but I didn't. I maybe hadn't quite gotten all that information yet. So anyway, that's our 2 minutes in 4 minutes. That's how it works on stage for me too. Half the talk and twice the time.
Oh, don't. Yes, I'm in that moment of, oh God, it's still too long. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Yeah. All right, everybody, we're going to close for today. Kathy, thank you so much for being my guest. Reminders to everyone who wants to purchase live stream tickets, you can do that either through Kathy or through me or through your other people, however you want to do it. But please join us, just at least energetically. Starting August 1st is the meet and greet, and then we start August 2nd, and we go through the new moon on August 4th. And oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing.
So August 4th, the new moon
in Leo.
Oh, that's the day I'm talking. God help me.
That's the day I'm speaking as well.
Yes.
We're going to be bringing things into that beautiful, new moon energy. This was never meant to make you nervous, just to give you more support.
I'm getting to the point that it's just going to be what it is.
It's going to be
anything else.
I'm really looking forward. Okay, everyone, we must go. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, David, for co-hosting. Thank you, Kathy, for being our guest.
Thank you so much.
See you soon, love.
All right, bye, everybody.
As well. Thank you. Take care. Bye now. Bye.